And welcome to Local 4 Live. Here's what we have going on for the next 2 hours. A Lansing lawmaker is pushing to make teens verify their age before joining social media. We'll chat about why this could help keep kids safe online. And drones are already flying around southeast Michigan, but soon could they be everywhere? We'll talk about the push to make Detroit the drone city. And with holiday shopping in full swing, our crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn will share tips to keep your gifts safe. Local 4 Live starts right now.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Priya Mann filling in for Nick Monticelli this morning. If you are getting ready to head out the door, take us with you on the Click on Detroit app. Here is the forecast around Metro Detroit today. It's going to be a cold one, so make sure you bundle up. It is a chilly start to your work week, and the wind chill, it's making it feel colder. Let's start here in downtown Detroit, where it's currently 15 degrees outside, but feeling more like 6. And then heading over to Metro Airport, pretty skies there, but the planes will be de-icing this morning because of the cold temps. It's 12 degrees there, but it feels more like 4. And over in Macomb County, a live look at Mount Clemens, where it is currently 16 degrees, but feels like 8, so feeling like single digits out there. And finally, we are heading to the slopes. A live look at Mount Holly. The further north you go, of course, the chillier it is. It is currently 1 degree in Holly, but feels like it too. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley will have your full forecast, plus a look at snow chances. And if we're going to see a warm up, that's all in just a few minutes. And we do want to take a live look at the roads right now. You can see lots of green on the screen, meaning traffic is flowing smoothly. There are some yellow spots where traffic gets heavy at this time, of course. It's also important to note that purple line you see, that's the eastbound lanes of I-696, currently closed for the ongoing 696 construction project. So people are already avoiding that area and finding detours. Now to your headlines. A proposed data center in Livingston County is back in the spotlight at a meeting tonight. Last month, county leaders denied a rezoning request, and the Howell Township Board put the project on hold for 6 months. This massive AI data center, reportedly backed by Meta, faces another big hurdle tonight. The board is deciding whether to rezone the land. Developers and attorneys say that they support the 6-month pause and are ready to agree to legal rules to limit noise, light pollution, and water usage. But homeowners are still pushing back, worried about utility costs, water supply, and the environment.
It feels like they're trying to fast track it, but haven't given us barely any information, or only telling us pros but no cons on the data centers.
I hope that you all take some time to just read the conditions that have been proposed and ask questions from there, because those are binding, they are in writing.
Now, that was one of the developer's attorneys speaking there. Homeowners, of course, pushing back against the proposed data centers. Again, that meeting is happening tonight, and we'll keep you updated with the outcome. And happening in less than an hour, a crucial hearing could finally free Mario Willis, who's been locked up for 16 years. He was convicted of second-degree murder and arson in the death of Detroit firefighter Walter Harris, but the case has been full of twists and turns. The fire was first blamed on a handyman who claimed Willis paid him to burn the building, then said detectives pressured him to blame Willis. The hearing starts at 9 and could last several days. Flu season is here and cases are starting to go up. So in an effort to keep everyone safe, starting today, the Detroit Medical Center is putting new rules in place. J. Scott Smith is breaking down everything you need to know.
The Detroit Medical Center is tightening its visitor policies amid a surge in flu cases across the state of Michigan. The changes will apply to all of their hospitals, including the Children's Hospital of Michigan, starting on Monday.
We take care of patients who are immunocompromised, meaning their immune system is a little bit weaker.
Dr. Rudolph Valentini is the chief medical officer at Children's Hospital.
A patient comes in seemingly well and they're 10 years old. Tomorrow they may come down with something and then they will have exposed our patients.
The guidelines are as follows. Patients are allowed up to 2 visitors at any time. Kids ages 12 and under are not allowed on inpatient hospital floors or in observation units. Anyone over the age of 13 who has a fever, cough, or rash is being asked not to visit, and all visitors with illnesses or cold symptoms are also asked to refrain from visiting patients. Now, similar restrictions went into place last year, and Dr. Valentini feels that now is the right time to bring them back.
Just about this time every year, maybe it's a week later, we usually put in the restrictions, the guidelines to help minimize the foot traffic and exposures to our patients and families.
According to the CDC, the national vaccination rate among children is 36%, while 39% of adults have gotten the flu shot as of December 1st. Last year's flu season was especially deadly for Michigan kids. The state health department reported 14 pediatric flu deaths, the highest number recorded in a single year since the state began tracking it back in 2004.
It's too early to tell you if the morbidity, the complications from influenza are greater this year than prior years.
The measures are meant to help keep patients safe in the hospital, but Dr. Valentini says there's a surefire way to help stay safe from the flu.
The best thing we can do is get our flu shot.
Among all the statistics we listed earlier, the State Department of Health also noted that there were nearly 33,000 cases of the flu here in Michigan. And as Dr. Valenti noted, there are many ways to treat the flu, but the best way to prevent it is by simply getting the flu vaccine. At Children's Hospital of Michigan here in Detroit, I'm Jay Scott Smith for Local 4.
All right, thank you, Jay. We do want to head to Lansing right now, where Michigan lawmakers are moving quickly on a bill that could make teens verify their age before signing up for social media. The bill also sets a usage curfew for minors and gives parents access to their kids' accounts with tools to limit daily screen time. Lawmakers say it's too easy to get around age restrictions right now. Parental permission will be required since minors, of course, can't legally consent. So let's take a look at some quick facts about social media and teens. The National Center for Health Research says 35% of teens are on social media, quote, almost constantly, and 54% find it hard to quit. The U.S. Surgeon General warns that kids who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have double the risk of depression and anxiety. And teens average about 3.5 hours daily on social media, and 46% say it makes them feel worse about their body image. So to break down this new bill regarding social media, it's the bill's sponsor and creator, State Rep Mark Tisdale of Rochester Hills. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Priya.
Okay, so why don't we start with, what do you want to see in this bill?
Well, you hit the nail on the head in your introduction. Minors simply cannot consent to an online contract. And when you read the terms of use agreements on all of the social media sites, they are in fact contracts. So ultimately, the businesses are accepting consent from someone that can't give it. And then secondly, all we want to do is reconnect authority to responsibility on the part of parents. You listed some of the social pathologies or emotional or psychological problems associated with constant social media site usage. Ultimately, it will be the parents' responsibility to pick up the pieces emotionally or financially or both. So they should have some authority on the front end as to what sites their minor children can be on and for how long.
So question for you. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I would find ways to get around the rules. If there was a rule, I'd find a way to break it. How do you enforce something like this to make sure that, you know, parents are informed and are actually consenting? How do you enforce that and make sure it's happening?
Well, the bill requires full access to the parents, and it requires either age verification or third-party age verification. You know, we buy all sorts of things online that can only be sold to 21-year-olds. So This is not something that's unusual. But you're correct in that there will be a workaround for nearly anything that we propose. But if you can get a 70 or 80+% compliance, it would be a huge improvement.
Sure, it gets the needle moving in the right direction, especially when you consider the rates of depression and anxiety. What is your response to some of the critics of a bill like this? We'll start with some folks who say that this violates First Amendment rights.
Well, the First Amendment rights would be turned over to the parents. It's not the state that would be blocking people from or minors from opening an account. In this instance, again, minors cannot consent to a contract, so it would have to be the parents that consent. And so if a minor's ability to enter into or to open an online social media account were blocked, it would be blocked by the parents. And I'm pretty sure that's not a First Amendment issue.
There's also some critics I was reading online who talk about how much money this would cost in litigation, and that it would draw the state into just something that would cost a lot of money. What are your thoughts on that if there were to be a lawsuit from somebody against a bill like this?
Well, and the companies, some of the company representatives raised this in the hearing, if they're concerned about those costs, then don't file the lawsuit. Again, there have been lawsuits against similar bills in other states. All of them have been stayed. There has not been a Supreme Court decision on these. So all those bills are currently in effect right now. And again, it simply comes down to two basic principles. One, minors cannot consent to a contract. And two, adults, parents need both the authority on the front end as to what their children are getting into if they're going to be held responsible on the back end.
Yeah, I did see that quote. I thought it was interesting that you want to empower parents. What would your message be to social media companies as well? We have started to see more conversation around when you talk about responsibility when it comes to our young people and some of the effects that we're starting to see with some kids through social media.
Well, the social media companies know exactly what they're doing. Teens and tweens are very valuable marketing targets. And when they open an account, that teen or tween becomes more valuable as their time online increases. And the contract that they've agreed to simply states that the social media company can collect information on their online habits and sell those to marketers. So the algorithm is designed to keep teens and tweens online and adults for as long as possible. And so their attention, this distraction is being monetized to the advantage of the social media companies, which is the entire intent.
Right, when it's a free service, then you are the commodity. Real quick,
Sure.
Just moving forward, what happens next?
Well, we've had a hearing in the regulatory reform committee. Chair Aragona out of Macomb County gave me that opportunity, and so now we're waiting for a vote in regulatory reform, and then have it moved to the floor House.
Well, it will be very interesting to see what happens next. Thank you so much, Representative Tisdale, for spending some time with us this morning.
You're welcome. I appreciate your interest.
Well, are we going from the Motor City to Drone City? Let's take a live look over downtown Detroit next. See how the city is becoming the center of drone technology that could change the way we live. Maybe we'd see some drones just zipping around Michigan Central there. And Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan has just 3 weeks left in office, and he's reflecting on his nearly 12 years at the helm of one of the biggest cities in the Midwest. This afternoon at 12:30, Mayor Duggan is giving an exit interview at the Detroit Economic Club. You can watch it streaming on Local 4 Plus and the homepage of clickondetroit.com. We'll be right back. Have you seen all the drones buzzing around southeast Michigan? Amazon is delivering packages by drone, and first responders are using them for fires and police calls. Now, a drone company just moved their headquarters from San Francisco to Detroit. So is the Motor City becoming Drone City? Shantae Passmore tells us what to expect in the skies very soon.
Hey, good morning. Michigan Central is, of course, known for many things. I mean, the architecture alone, just stunning. And the lights really bring you into the holiday spirit. But this is also a hub for drone startups. And it's not just about having the ability to fly these aircrafts. It's about how businesses and cities can tap into their use, elevating their footprint. Michigan Central is propelling into new territory. The historical landmark, along with multiple partners, launched the Advanced Aerial Innovation Region, also known as AIR.
In order to bring drone companies here to fly beyond visual line of sight and to build real scalable businesses in a real-world urban environment.
Drone pilots must be able to physically see their drones at all times. These operators fly by watching through desktops.
It's waiting for the aircraft to boot up.
Using a mouse or controller, AIR helped several drone companies obtain a special FAA waiver. Lamar.ai shows Local 4 how its software conducts building inspections for the city of Detroit. It's tasked with detecting energy inefficiencies at 3 sites.
The AI sifts through it and gives you the outcome so that you're focused on the better task, which is how do we solve that problem rather than how do we identify that problem.
It can't do this work alone. Fly Guys provides the pilots. The Beyond Visual Line of Sight fee waiver requires strict guidelines, including parachutes on the aircraft.
I can fly up there, take some pictures, and go home at night. That's the whole point.
And it's not just building inspections. There are talks of moving goods, even medical deliveries, like medication and possibly organ transport. To streamline this ecosystem, the city adopted a special ordinance to help innovators get their ideas off the ground.
Motor City might be flying. Motor City is definitely flying, and the Motor City is going to be moving in many different ways in the future.
And this is just so major. You know, normally drone pilots, they're not allowed to fly over people out of safety concerns, but with these special waivers, they're able to do so. And if you were wondering just how far these pilots can go remotely in this area, we're talking about 2 miles or so. And the city says any projects that go through the Transportation and Innovation Zone, which is where we're standing right now, it doesn't cost taxpayers anything, going back to that building inspection. And part of the reason is because it's either privately funded or it receives grant funding. We're in front of Michigan Central. Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Shantae. You saw her bundled up. We are off to a chilly start this week in Metro Detroit. Ashley just walked in. She's tracking snow chances and when things may warm up. And speaking of a warm up, let's head to Hawaii, where something that's never happened before just happened at Mount Kilauea. We'll explain next. We are taking a live look at Mount Kilauea on Hawaii's Big Island. The volcano has calmed down, but it was a showstopper over the weekend. Just look at this time-lapse video from Saturday showing lava and ash erupting all day long, including a rare triple lava fountain. Each fountain shot up between 400 and 500 feet. That's crazy video. A first for this volcano. The lava flow was so powerful it actually took out one of the live stream cameras. This marks the 38th eruption of Mount Kilauea this year. boy, it looks like it was a lot of ash, right, Ash?
I knew you were going to go
right?
there.
I had to do something cheesy.
Priya jokes.
I know, it's dad jokes, really.
Yeah.
But wow, that video was incredible.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
It's just, when you think about how long it's been since something like that's happened, and now you have 3 of those massive spouts.
I know, incredible, but yeah, they can keep the lava and the ash.
We could use a little bit of heat,
We
though,
could
huh?
use a little heat. Oh boy, on a morning like today, I mean,
Right?
you were outside.
So cold.
So cold. Yeah, just thawing out in studio. But yeah, here are the temperatures. I mean, if a map can look cold, this one does, just because of the colors that are on the map. That dark pinkish purple indicating the much colder air mass draping the Great Lakes. I mean, it certainly could be worse. It's been trending colder in Duluth, Marquette, Green Bay. But hey, cold is cold, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at satellite radar. That high pressure kind of pushing across lower Michigan keeps us dry for the day, gives us a little sunshine as well. But behind that, you see just west of the high pressure, some snow. So we do anticipate some snow tomorrow. And then as temperatures rise, we will have a chance for a rain-snow mix. And then you contend with a refreeze because the warm-up's not lasting long. We're going to be dipping back below average. Here's a live look at Michigan Central. Beautiful look out there where temps sit at 16 degrees in the city. 11 in Ann Arbor and Pontiac, 10 down into Monroe, and then you factor in that northerly breeze. And then this is what it feels like outside. So we have single digits, pretty much widespread, even below 0 for the feels like temperature down into Adrian. So we've had a few scattered sub-zero wind chills, but for the most part, it's been in the single digits, just downright chilly. And so 26 today for the high puts us more than 10 degrees below average. And then worth noting that it'll probably feel like the upper teens with the wind chill this afternoon at best. So we'll call it partly cloudy or partly sunny with temps in the 20s and feeling colder with that wind chill. And there's the comparison for you as those highs get in the 20s and feeling like teens. And even later on this evening, we likely fall back in the single digits for wind chills. But we'll be rebounding tomorrow. Does come with some snow chances. So here is a timeline of how all that's going to shake out. Our model data putting in some of that snow, at least in our western communities, by the time we get to 7 a.m. It does drape the area between 8 and 9, so I think it's just in the heart of that morning rush hour drive. We're not talking a lot of accumulation, but just a little coating, little dusting can create slick spots, especially on ramps, bridges, overpasses, or sidewalks that haven't been treated. Now, as far as the back edge of this, when this pushes out of here, should be clearing the east side by about noon, which means late morning for the west side communities. But then we have a lull because it's another round that we're dealing with by the evening, and it will be mainly a snowmaker in the thumb. We see some freezing drizzle across the metro area and rain to our south. Now that rain does begin to lift closer to M59, but I would say up in Sandusky, this is just a snow event, and then we'll have a little break before we get more rounds of scattered snow showers in the forecast. And so it's going to kind of fluctuate back and forth. As far as totals, like I said, not too impressive by the time we get through the morning. Maybe about ½ inch to an inch is what we're contending with. And then as we head into the later part of your Wednesday, you can see those totals really do exceed 3 inches into the thumb. So some shovelable snow where it stays snow for the whole event, but rain will cut down really on those totals across the metro area. So it's colorful. You see that rain lifting as we head into Wednesday, then changing back to snow. Once we get to Thursday, now we're just talking about banding. Lake effect snow bands off and on, creating those flurries off and on all the way through the weekend. Though I'm keeping a close eye on that system that tracks just south of here for late Friday. Hopefully we dodge that as far as a snowmaker. But I mean, highs should be in the upper 30s this time of year. We get close to it Wednesday, and then that bottom falls out, and then we're only in the 20s come Thursday and beyond.
Come on, Ash, I was waiting for some silver lining here, some little warm up.
I'll give you a silver lining.
Okay.
As a mom of a hockey kid, any of those outdoor backyard ice rinks, people are loving this weather because you need it to stay cold. So there's your silver lining.
There is. I also love seeing his pictures because he just seems like he is enjoying his time in the ice. At least that makes one of us.
Right. I would say he can skate circles around mom. I can't skate nearly as good as my 6-year-old. So
I love that. Yeah. Well, for those outdoor skating rinks too. You
Absolutely.
know?
Campus Martius, all
Beautiful.
of that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You did. You found that silver lining. Thanks, Ash. Well, we are back with a Local 4 News update in just a minute. Plus, a new study showing customers are changing shopping habits to stay safe this holiday season. And Ashley was just talking about it. Next, we're taking a look at those numbers while you're looking at Campus Martius. We have crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn inside the studio for a convo about what to do to make sure a Grinch doesn't get away with your holiday gifts. Good morning, I'm Priya Mann. Firefighters will be out today to look for what sparked a massive fire at a strip mall in Garden City. This happened on Middle Belt near Ford Road. Crews from Garden City, Dearborn Heights, and Inkster fought the flames for hours last night. City leaders warned those living near the scene to expect temporary power outages and discolored water. Investigators are still working to find out the cause. And head to Local 4 Plus and click on Detroit.com, where we continue to stream local news and weather. In our next 90 minutes, we're diving into holiday shopping safety. Crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn is here to share how to keep the holiday Grinch at bay this year. Plus, we're talking cars. Consumer Reports revealing the most reliable rides on the road. And finally, a look at the future of Detroit's Packard plant. What's next for the iconic, long vacant automotive site? And Ashley is back with a look at your forecast in just a few minutes. Keep it here.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Priya Mann, filling in for Nick Monticelli today. Let's get into the holiday spirit, shall we? Getting a live look at the Christmas Village over in Finland today. Many families are rushing around to finish up their Christmas shopping, and Americans, of course, are changing the way that they do that this year. It has a lot to do with trying to stay safe. According to the National Retail Federation, shoplifting incidents are up 93% since 2019. And that report says, as a result, 72% of shoppers are worried about theft. 47% say it's affected their shopping habits. Many are choosing online shopping instead, avoiding crowds and staying extra alert. Only 38% believe stores have enough security, and 41% have witnessed thefts in the last year. Some pretty staggering numbers to take in. We do want to bring in how to stay safe with our crime and safety expert, Darnell Blackburn. And Darnell, first, where are these thefts occurring for the most part?
This kind of stuff happens because of opportunity. And opportunity, if we're talking about shopping in stores, it's the idea of people leaving stuff in the cart, like their wallets, their phones, and walking away. And so we really just need to be reminded, Priya, to not do that kind of stuff, to make sure that we don't leave our stuff in carts. Again, like your wallet or your purse, if you're a lady, your phones, that kind of thing. I suggest this. I suggest that if you have a purse or something like that, you know, be discreet as you possibly can, but take that purse, grab it, just grab the credit card, your license out that you need, take the purse. If you have to keep it with you, tuck it under your seat in your vehicle. Be very discreet about that. Leave it there so you're not carrying so much stuff. And you just got that. If you do have to carry your purse, don't leave it in the cart.
Or if you're buying a lot of items, don't put it in the back seat. Maybe put it in the trunk if you're going to multiple stores in one visit, right?
Absolutely. You know, if you're going to multiple stores and don't keep a whole bunch of bags with you at one time. Let's actually back up a little bit, Priya. Let's start with the fact of where you're going to park when you first get there. If you're going to be there for a long time, park in a well-lit area. Park somewhere where, you know, there's multiple people. Don't be one of those people that, I don't want to get my door dinged. You'd rather have your door dinged or all your window smashed out or your presents taken.
Oh, so, I always park far away.
Yeah, don't be that person if you've got to do a lot of shopping.
But I'm also taking my purse inside with me.
Yeah, maybe your purse, but, you know, still people, be mindful of the fact that people can be watching. Be mindful of the fact that you just don't want to isolate yourself. You still got to walk back out to that vehicle, and you're walking with a bunch of stuff in your hand. Don't do that, because if your hands aren't free, you can't protect yourself. So
what do you recommend?
I recommend that just if you buy a lot of stuff, take it out to the parking lot, put it in your car, put it in the trunk, maybe even move your car. Move to a different space, you know, something like that. Don't just buy a bunch of stuff and just haul it out to the car and then put it in the car and leave it there. Maybe move your car to a different space, again, a well-lit area where people are around. Don't, again, leave your cell phone in your shopping cart. Don't even get in the habit of putting that stuff in your shopping cart. If you got to have it tethered to you, tether it to you. If it's a purse or a cell phone, make sure you go to the store with pockets. If you're a lady, sometimes your stuff doesn't have
we don't have pockets.
You better find something that does. Or get a fanny pack.
Producer Mary actually bought her grandmother one of these like locks that she can put her purse, if she leaves it in the cart, it locks to that.
Locks to the cart.
It's like an extra security measure.
Yeah, but you still got to pay attention to that cart. That's a good thing.
That's true.
It's an extra thing, but now you got to be tethered to that cart, which is sometimes hard to do, even just for a brief second.
Because something catches your eye and off you go.
Yeah, you are like, squirrel. That's how ladies always shout, squirrel. Oh, I love this. Oh, it's so beautiful.
And you're like, oh, my purse.
At least my wife does that. I don't know.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Making sure, thinking about those things matter.
Okay, thank you so much, Darnell. Appreciate your time. Oh, no, we still got more to talk about. Sorry. No, we want to talk about the online shopping as well. What are you seeing when we're talking about how to stay safe when it comes to all those online purchases?
Just making sure that it's a valid website. That is the biggest thing that you have to pay attention to. The thought process of making sure that, here's what you do. Double check a website. If you see a website and if the deal looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So it's so simple now for us to validate websites. Type in Better Business Bureau. And you can just search and type in the name of that entity, that organization. They'll say, yeah, no, this is what's been reported. Heck, even sometimes Google or AI. AI is such a powerful tool if used properly, but just double check, and double check. So it makes a difference if you're doing that. The other thing we want to talk about is the idea of porch pirates, people stealing your stuff.
Right.
Making sure that, people can't afford lock boxes as much, but just making sure that you have your stuff delivered, have it delivered to work, have it delivered to a neighbor's house, have it delivered within a specific time frame, or even requiring a signature. Those things can help to limit these things from being taken from your personal items. So those are ways to help prevent somebody from just coming and just taking your stuff very easily.
What would you say is the safest then between shopping in person, shopping online?
I mean, it's a matter of preference. Obviously, if you're in a store and you become more of an easy target if you're walking out and people are seeing you, that you're more of what we call a soft target, I should say. Shopping online obviously is safe, but you still have to pay attention to those cues, because you might get taken for more online than you are taken for offline because of the fact that, hey, I see these deals, I'm gonna spend all this money. Don't spend a bunch of money on one website. that's one of the key things not to do, just because you want to make sure it's a valid website before you spend all the money.
Well, did you hear about the story out of Chicago where a family caught folks stealing some of their Christmas gifts? This was happening in broad daylight. I don't know if you guys have that video, but there was a Ring doorbell video which shows a man, and he was walking up to the house with a red, look at this. So he's walking up with a DoorDash bag, pretending to be a delivery driver. He's starting to stuff gifts into the bag. They were interrupted about 30 seconds in when the family pulled into the driveway and the thief ran off. So what's worse, if you just wait a second here, the video shows the suspect in a red SUV had driven by the house multiple times. Look at him. And the homeowner's just pulling up right as this is all happening. And he was trying to pretend to be like a DoorDash driver. So the thieves are getting creative as well.
Very creative. And if you run into something like this, I mean, it's disheartening, obviously, to have something like this, but thieves are creative. You run into something like this, pay attention to the individual. If you know you didn't order DoorDash, pay attention to this guy and pay attention to everything, like how tall he is, what race he is, what he's wearing, and more importantly, get a license plate number. Don't chase after the guy yourself, because you don't want to put yourself in
Then you get angry and you're like, you're right there.
Absolutely, but it's not worth your life.
That's true.
Not. So call the police, and call the police right away and let them know. But they are getting very creative, and these are things that you have to be mindful of. That's why what we talked about, having a package delivered at work, have it delivered to the store or somewhere like that would be a benefit.
How about even getting it sent to like a police station?
Oh, absolutely. That's some police stations. I believe West Bloomfield will do it. A lot of police stations will.
White Lake Township?
White Lake Township.
Yeah,
that's another one that will allow it. They'll allow you to do that. And if worst case scenario, just have it delivered to work, like some of the people I know here do, so their husbands and spouses don't find out that not just the women, some of the guys as well. No, having it delivered to even a loved one's home, to work, to
something more secure.
Someplace more secure. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, because there was another way we were talking about police departments as well, but there's actually a bill that lawmakers in Washington, they're trying to crack down on the theft. So right now it's only a federal crime to steal USPS packages, but the Porch Pirate Act, have you heard of this? It would expand the rule to UPS, Amazon, and FedEx deliveries as well. So it includes higher fines and jail time up to 10 years.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. USPS is protected because it's a federal agency. Now this porch pirate law would allow, federal laws are a lot more strict than local laws. So having that would be,
do you
hopefully
sometimes think they're a deterrent? Do you think when laws get passed like this?
To some degree, criminals are going to be criminals, and they'll get creative, just like we just saw.
With the DoorDash.
DoorDash. But at least one thing that it allows for better prosecution, easier prosecution. It allows for, I won't say easier, but higher penalties for the prosecution, and they're able to penalize people for doing things and maybe set a better example. If not a deterrent, at least set an example.
All right, so we covered in-person shopping, online shopping, new bills, maybe send it to a police station or your place of work. So people have some options here to stay safe.
A lot of options. We have to take advantage of it. Now, the world we live in, we have so many options. Just thinking about it and just being mindful that there are people who want to steal your valuables, just like we saw earlier, this particular guy just doing whatever
But crazy
they can.
too, the homeowners pulling up just as all of this is happening.
Absolutely. It happens. I've seen it before. I'm not that surprised, unfortunately. So we got a lot of options.
Well, thanks for making it, talking about being mindful. These are good things to keep in mind. Thank you so much, Darnell.
Appreciate you, Priya.
All right, well, we have new fallout on Capitol Hill. A live look at the White House as calls grow louder to release the video of an airstrike on an alleged drug boat near Venezuela. We'll hear from lawmakers coming up. We are taking a live look at the Capitol, where calls are growing louder to release the video of that September airstrike on an alleged drug boat near Venezuela that killed survivors of the first hit. Critics are calling it a war crime, while in a new interview on NBC's Meet the Press, one leading Republican lawmaker defended the move, arguing the survivors were not incapacitated by the first strike. Alice Barr has more from Washington.
Hi there. President Trump is again suggesting the military campaign against drug smuggling boats may expand to land as his administration faces growing pressure over their tactics so far. Signs of an intensifying campaign against drug traffickers in the Caribbean, with the Trump administration sending more U.S. troops to Puerto Rico for training, and President Trump saying he may move from strikes on alleged drug boats at sea to land in Venezuela and other countries.
We know every route, we know every house, we know where they live.
The president overnight hosting the Kennedy Center honors as lawmakers sound off on the strikes.
They're unlawful, they're unconstitutional.
Zeroing in on the double tap back in September that killed 2 survivors of an initial strike. Congress is investigating, with many Democrats calling it a war crime and calling on the administration to release the video.
This video was profoundly shaken. And I think it's important for Americans to see it.
That amid new details about what Admiral Frank Bradley, who ordered the strike, told lawmakers in closed-door testimony. The admiral said he consulted with a military lawyer throughout the operation, and an official and a person familiar with the briefing told NBC News Bradley said the boat's cargo was bound for Europe or Africa, not the U.S. The sources also said military aircraft spotted the survivors waving their arms, Republicans defending the move.
It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo and continue their mission.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also justifying the campaign.
We will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics.
And while President Trump said releasing the video would be no problem, Hegseth would not commit to it, saying the Pentagon is reviewing. A bipartisan group of senators is pushing a resolution aiming to block U.S. military action in Venezuela unless authorized by Congress, while the Republican chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee argued the president does not need congressional approval to continue the strikes on boats at sea. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And staying in Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court is taking on a case that could shake up the power balance between the president and independent agencies. The focus is whether former President Trump had the right to fire Rebecca Kelly Slaughter from the Federal Trade Commission, an agency that's supposed to be independent. This case challenges a 90-year rule that limits how much control the president can have over certain agencies. The decision could change how future presidents interact with these groups. And heading to Wall Street right now, a live look at the stock futures board as markets prepare for a big week ahead. Futures are looking flat, with investors holding their breath for tomorrow's Federal Reserve meeting. By Wednesday, the Fed could cut interest rates again, and traders are hoping for good news after last week's strong market close. This is the Fed's final meeting of the year, and everyone has been watching it closely. Well, it's time to strap in. We are in for a weather roller coaster this week. Ashley is tracking cold, snow, and rain. Plus, we're heading to England, where Comet and Cupid are getting ready for their flight around the world. But what about Buddy? We'll explain the runaway reindeer next. Well, we're getting a live look at Liverpool, England, and you know that's for Dasher and Dancer and Prancer, but did you know Buddy? Well, a reindeer by that name has a new claim to fame. Officials say that he ran away from a recent Christmas event near Liverpool. They say Buddy led police on an hours-long search involving a drone and several police officers. Buddy made his way to the beach and is now back at Santa's village. I mean, you know, maybe the guy just wants some time to reflect on the year ahead. It's been busy. He's got a busy season.
I mean, who doesn't want to go to the beach?
Right, exactly. I love that he just like took off and they were like, we gotta go find this reindeer.
That's so funny. He's just playing reindeer games.
He really was, yeah. And it is a season to be talking about reindeer because boy, it is cold out there.
It is. You know, we're just laying this nice coating of snow. Even if a little melts, we'll get more to add to it for Santa's sleigh to arrive later this month. So yeah, it's chilly out there. We kind of feel like we're in the North Pole, right? As you see these really cold temperatures draping the Great Lakes region. So at least we're in good company, and it certainly could be worse. I mean, Marquette has been trending below zero, and that was without even the wind chill, but high pressure clearing out some of those clouds. We're getting some sunshine to start the day. We'll call it partly sunny, and then some snow on the western edge of that system. That will start to push in by tomorrow, clipping the morning rush. Now, I don't think it comes in super early if you are a very early riser, but you know, your 8, 9 o'clock hour when the roads get really busy, that's when we could see some of that light snow falling tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll take in the sun. We just have to bundle up. Here's a live look at Michigan Central, where we sit at 16 degrees in the city. 11 in Ann Arbor, 11 in Pontiac, 14 down in Monroe. Don't want to spend too much time on the air temps because of that northerly wind. This is what it feels like as you step outside. Adrian still sub-zero. Priya shaking her head. No thanks. No thanks. Yeah. I mean, we want the snow to stick around for the holidays, but maybe we could get a little bump in temperatures would be nice, which we will get the bump in temperatures, but then we're talking about kind of a wintry mess midweek. So 26 degrees for the high today, which is more than 10 degrees below average. That doesn't take into account the wind chill, which will feel like the teens. You can see where that air temp compares to the feels like temperature. So at best, probably upper teens for your wind chill later on today. But let's go ahead and zip through our computer model because we get some sunshine today. But both our high-res models pushing this in probably no sooner than about 7 a.m., but 8, 9 o'clock, we have widespread light snow, light accumulating snow throughout the morning, and then that's out of here midday. We get a lull, and then by evening, another round, and this is where it gets messy, just very sloppy out there. The thumb, probably mainly a snow event, but across the metro area, we get freezing drizzle, rain-snow mix. Rain south of I-94 as that rain-snow line lifts a little farther north through the overnight, but you can see our far northern communities of the thumb, this stays kind of a wet snow event that pushes out of here, and then we get some colder air building in, and you get a few more scattered snow showers as the day rolls on. So it's going to be a mixed bag come Wednesday. And then I worry about the refreeze once you get some of that rain. So a snowfall forecast puts anywhere from just a dusting to about an inch for the Tuesday snow event. But then as we get in the later part of Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we start to see more of that accumulation up into the thumb, upward of 3 inches. And I would say across the metro area, when it's all said and done from Tuesday and Wednesday, those totals could be, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 inches, but you have to take into account there's going to be some melting in the in-between with that rain coming in. So clouds and radar forecast, we'll zip through. You see how the rain lifts on Wednesday and then changes back to snow. I want to show you what's on the tail end of the week because we get more of those lake effect snow bands. So the banding would call for just off and on flurries across the area for your Thursday. That Friday system tracking south of here, we're keeping an eye on it. And then even into Saturday, we could have some of those lake effect flurries across the area. Winter is here, folks. I mean, it has had a very tight grasp on us. I mean, 39 is our average high right now. We get close to average Wednesday and it's out of here. We're back in the 20s and we'll have those really cold overnights.
I need more of those sound effects in my life. Yeah. There we go. That's what I feel like about the forecast, though. I'm like, all right, this is just too much.
I know. But I'll tell you what, I don't love the cold. Yeah. I mean, we should be used to it
of course,
in Michigan.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily love it. But when you have kids and you see how excited they are about the snow,
right,
it does make you happy for the kids that get out and enjoy it.
I will say, I was reporting this morning, so I'm standing outside waiting for your forecast. And as you're talking about those wind chill temps, I'm telling the producers, because I'm dancing to try to stay warm. I'm like, yeah, no, she's right. It's very cold out here.
I can tell you what it feels like right now. Yes. Oh, I know. Well.
All right. Thanks so much, Ash.
Yes.
Well, we are helping families in need this holiday season. Next, to look at how you can go for it this week to provide gifts for kids this year. And just look at all that sunshine. If it is going to be bitterly cold, at least we got some sunshine. Thanks so much for that, Ash. A Toys for Tots organizer has spent decades making sure kids get a new toy during the holidays. Now he says he is overwhelmed with applications from families looking for help. The need is great this year, and that's why our Go For It event this December is a toy drive. Our Ty Steele has a look at how you can help.
This is December for retired Marine Master Sergeant Phil Smith, collecting toys to fill this warehouse, eventually delivering joy to children during the holidays.
I cover 11 cities and 10 zip codes in Detroit.
Volunteers sorting and organizing, fulfilling family requests from Dearborn to Southgate, Allen Park to Garden City. Smith says more families than ever are asking for help with toys.
I have never seen so many applications in my life. I've been doing this for 29 years. I can't even give you an estimate. I'm going to say over 2,000, about 3,000 people, families, and that's going to range from one child to 8 children and maybe more.
That's why Local 4 is teaming up once again with Toys for Tots and Kroger for our Go For It event.
Our store team gets excited about it. I get excited about it. I mean, this is year 3. We filled the semi-truck first 2 years, and I expect that we're going to do the same this year. So come out, visit us, and let's fill that truck up.
Toys for Tots wants new unwrapped toys for children up to 12 years old. And the Local 4 team will be there at the Kroger on 4th Street in Southgate Wednesday from 6 in the morning to 6 at night to collect your donations. We'll see you there.
And that was our Ty Steele reporting. Help us go for it on Wednesday. We're taking any new and unwrapped toys, but Smith says they really need some bikes as well. We will be at the Kroger in Southgate on Wednesday from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. It's on 4th Street. Now get there early because we are giving away $10 Kroger gift cards for the first 200 people who donate a new toy. Hope to see you there. We have much more ahead in our next hour, streaming here on Local 4 Plus and clickondetroit.com. Could your next car be a Chevy, Buick, or Camry? We're talking with Consumer Reports about the most reliable rides out there. Plus, a huge redevelopment is underway for the Packard plant, once a symbol of Detroit's decline, now set for a major makeover. We're speaking with the people behind the plan. And if you're scratching your head over 6'7", Riz, or Crash Out, you are not alone. We're breaking down mean speak and what kids are really saying in the chat. More news and weather in our next hour. Stay with us. Welcome back as we stream here on Local 4 Plus and clickondetroit.com. Here's what we're working on in our next hour. We are talking about the most reliable cars on the road. Are you driving one of them? If your car comes from one of the Detroit 3, the answer is probably not. And then a big hospital system in the metro is limiting visitors starting today because of an increase in flu cases. Plus, there's a new vision for the long vacant site of the Packard plant in Detroit. What could go up in its place? Local 4 Live starts now.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And thanks for being here on a bitterly cold Monday. I'm Priya Mann filling in for Nick Monticelli. We do want to start with the weather. If you're watching us from the comfort of home, make sure you bundle up when you head outside. If you're already at work or have taken the kids to school, you know just how cold it is out there. In some spots, wind chills have fallen below zero. You're looking live at Metro Airport in Romulus, where it's 12 degrees out, but feels like 4. And it's about the same in Ann Arbor. For students walking around the University of Michigan campus, it's 11 degrees outside, but feels like 3. And for anyone working downtown, it's 15 degrees, but feels like 6. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barassi will join us shortly to track the cold temperatures and some snow that could make for a tricky morning drive tomorrow. Now to your headlines. A proposed data center in Livingston County is back in the spotlight at a meeting tonight. Last month, county leaders denied a rezoning request, and the Howell Township Board put the project on hold for 6 months. This massive AI data center, reportedly backed by Meta, faces another big hurdle tonight. The board is deciding whether to rezone the land. Developers' attorneys say they support the 6-month pause and are ready to agree to legal rules to limit noise, light pollution, and water usage. But homeowners are still pushing back, worried about utility costs, water supply, and the environment.
It feels like they're trying to fast track it, but haven't given us barely any information, or only telling us pros but no cons on the data centers.
And I hope that you will all take some time to just read the conditions that have been proposed and ask questions from there, because those are binding, they are in writing.
Now, that was one of the developers' attorneys speaking, but homeowners are pushing back hard against these proposed data centers. Again, that meeting is happening tonight. We'll keep you updated with the outcome. There is a crucial hearing about to get underway, and it could finally free Mario Willis, who's been locked up for 16 years. He was convicted of second-degree murder and arson in the death of Detroit firefighter Walter Harris. But the case has been full of twists. Lauren Kostick spoke with Mario's mom.
I didn't want to be one of those mothers saying, oh, my child didn't do this. I knew it was going to take evidence and facts to bring Mario home.
For more than a decade, Maxine Willis has compiled every piece of evidence and testimony she could find.
It's been a long time coming, 16 years. I basically turned the lower level of my home into my law firm.
Her son Mario is serving a 30-year sentence for second-degree murder, convicted of arranging an arson that killed Detroit firefighter Walter Harris in 2008. Walter Harris, at 37, lost his life doing a job he loves. Initially, the fire was attributed to a handyman, Darren Dove, who started the fire to keep warm. But that story later changed to say Mario paid him to burn the place down for insurance money. Testimony Dove later took back, saying he lied under pressure.
We were in awe that, you mean Mario can be convicted because of what someone said? That, where's the evidence?
In 2003, Local 4's Devin Skillian covered the case, sitting down with Maxine and Bill Proctor, a longtime reporter who now works on innocence appeals. They agree something isn't adding up. For one, it's rare for an arsonist to call 911. Also, Mario didn't have the property insured against fire, meaning there was no money to gain. Plus, the prosecution claims Mario didn't offer an alibi, but new video shows Mario being interviewed by the arson team. All this leading to an evidentiary hearing.
This is the first time that we'll be able to present factual evidence to show Mario's innocence.
A hearing Maxine and her family prayed for, saying all they want is the truth.
At the end of the day, we know that a first responder lost his life. However, the truth must come out.
And that was Lauren Kostick reporting. In a statement, Wayne County Prosecutor's Office said this case was tried by a jury that convicted the defendant. That conviction was affirmed by the appellate courts. The Conviction Integrity Unit reviewed the case and found no support for the defendant's current claim of innocence. Our appellate attorneys will argue the case based upon their exhaustive review of the defendant's claims, which we assert have little or no merit. And Lauren is in the courtroom right now, and we'll have updates throughout the day on clickondetroit.com and later editions of Local 4. Starting today, the Detroit Medical Center is tightening visitor rules across all of its hospitals. Patients can have only 2 visitors at a time, and children 12 and under can't enter inpatient floors or observation units. Visitors 13 and older with a fever, cough, or rash are asked to stay home. These steps come as flu cases surge in Michigan, with last year's season leading to 14 children's deaths, the highest ever recorded.
We take care of patients who are immunocompromised, meaning their immune system is a little bit weaker. We usually put in the restrictions, the guidelines to help minimize the foot traffic and exposures to our patients and families.
And while there are treatments available, doctors say the best way to prevent illness is to get the flu shot. And just into the newsroom, the transition team for Detroit Mayor-elect Mary Sheffield confirms that she got married over the weekend. Sheffield married Ricky Jackson Jr., a program manager for Project Play Southeast Michigan, a group focused on youth sports. Sheffield will be sworn in as mayor next month. Congratulations, Mary. Well, if you are in the market for a new car, this next story might help you decide what to get. We know car prices have hit a record high of more than $50,000. Consumer Reports tested dozens of new cars to find out what's worth your money. So let's start with the most reliable brands. You'll notice only one Detroit automaker is on the top 10 list. Coming in first is Subaru, followed by BMW, Porsche, Honda, and Toyota. Coming in fifth is Lexus, followed by the only Detroit brand to make the list, Lincoln. At 8, it's Hyundai, followed by Acura and Tesla. Now, on the flip side, several Detroit brands did come in on the bottom of the list. The Consumer Reports ranking has Alfa Romeo, Dodge, GMC, Land Rover, and Jeep at the very bottom. So to talk about all these rankings, we're joined now by Steve Ellick, the program leader for automotive data analytics for Consumer Reports. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's first start with, what are the metrics that a vehicle it's used to judge whether it's safe and reliable?
So for reliability, we look at our survey data, and whatever we get that our members tell us, about 380,000 vehicles contribute to our reliability. And then we look at the last 3 model years to predict new models. And then average that together to the brand reliability, and then that contributes to the brand report card, which you just listed before.
But like, what's in the survey? What are you guys looking for? What are you comparing one vehicle to another against?
That's the main question we ask our members is, what problems have you had in the last 12 months? And something that you consider severe. And then we basically crunch all that data and then compare everything to other vehicles in the same model year. So you look at a Ford F-150, is that above average reliability compared to other 2025 Ford F-150s or below? So everything's relative to that same model year.
Yeah, you know, we're home to the big 3. Kind of tough to see us in the bottom of that list.
Yeah, and you know, each brand has its own story. So like Ford, the F-150 is average now. The F-150 hybrid is the most reliable full-size truck you can buy. There are good vehicles on there, such as the Bronco Sport. I mean,
the Lincoln.
There are a couple. The Lincoln's doing fantastic, especially on the overall score ranking, the brand report card. I mean, their reliability has improved. Ford and Lincoln are on a good track.
So, you know, for consumers, was there anything that surprised you when you were looking and crunching all the data?
What surprised me this year was, you know, seeing Tesla pretty high on the list for reliability, because they've kind of come over their build quality issues, which they've had in the last couple of years for Model Y and Model 3. So that's good.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It was surprising to see Subaru. I wasn't expecting that one to be the top.
Yeah, Subaru, you know what Subaru does? Subaru, they incrementally redesign their vehicles very conservatively. So, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's not a ground up redesign. The Forester is an evolution from the old Forester. You could barely even tell the difference when you look at them. And that, from a reliability standpoint, that pays dividends, and that helps on the brand report card as well. That's why they're the top brand overall, too.
You know, if somebody's taking a look at this list, maybe they're looking for a new car. We've all seen that the prices for cars certainly seem like they've jumped. What do you want them to take away from this, or to be looking at when they're judging, you know, the car that they personally like versus where it ranked on the list?
You know, at the end of the day, we have so many lists out there. There's owner satisfaction, so that's one of our lists. And really, you're going to be happy with the car that you're expecting to buy. So Rivian owners, they tell us that the Rivians are extremely unreliable, but the owner satisfaction is the most reliable brand, Rivian is. Yeah, so when you look at that, it's really, you know, someone going out and buying a Rivian, they're not looking for a reliable car. They're looking for a car with character, something cool, EV, and it delivers on that promise. But then someone looking for a Toyota, they want a reliable vehicle, and then it delivers on that promise.
So interesting. Yeah, you might be tied to the story as well. All right, thank you so much, Stephen. Really interesting numbers there.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead, it's a debate that's happening in many homes. How old should a child be before they're allowed on social media? We're talking about a new bill that would restrict a child's access here in Michigan. The age limits and how it would work is next. Let's head to Lansing now, where Michigan lawmakers are moving quickly on a bill that would make teens verify their age before signing up for social media. The bill also sets a usage curfew for minors and gives parents access to their children's accounts with tools to limit daily screen time. Lawmakers say it's too easy to get around age restrictions. Parental permission will be required since minors can't legally consent. This comes as Michigan schools struggle with rising anxiety and depression, often linked to social media use. Last hour, I spoke with the bill's sponsor, Republican State Representative Mark Tisdale of Rochester Hills.
Minors simply cannot consent to an online contract. And when you read the terms of use agreements on all of the social media sites, they are in fact contracts. So ultimately, the businesses are accepting consent from someone that can't give it. And then secondly, all we want to do is reconnect authority to responsibility on the part of parents. You listed some of the social pathologies or emotional or psychological problems associated with constant social media site usage. Ultimately, it will be the parents' responsibility to pick up the pieces emotionally or financially or both. So they should have some authority on the front end as to what sites their minor children can be on and for how long.
So, question for you. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I would find ways to get around the rules. If there was a rule, I'd find a way to break it. How do you enforce something like this to make sure that, you know, parents are informed and are actually consenting? How do you enforce that and make sure it's happening?
Well, the bill requires full access to the parents, and it requires either age verification or third-party age verification. You know, we buy all sorts of things online that can only be sold to 21-year-olds. So this is not something that's unusual. But you're correct in that there will be a workaround for nearly anything that we propose. But if you can get a 70 or 80+% compliance, it would be a huge improvement.
Sure, it gets the needle moving in the right direction, especially when you consider the rates of depression and anxiety. What is your response to some of the critics of a bill like this? We'll start with some folks who say that this violates First Amendment rights.
Well, the First Amendment rights would be turned over to the parents. It's not the state that would be blocking people from, or minors from opening an account. In this instance, again, minors cannot consent to a contract, so it would have to be the parents that consent. And so if a minor's ability to enter into or to open an online social media account were blocked, it would be blocked by the parents. And I'm pretty sure that's not a First Amendment issue.
And you can watch the full interview on clickondetroit.com or Local 4's YouTube page. Well, more snow is on the way this week, and it could have a big impact on your drive to work tomorrow. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey is fine-tuning the timing and will join us with an update next. Well, let's take you live to Corktown, where a popular vegan comfort food spot is opening its first brick and mortar location. It's called Street Beat, and it was operating as a pop-up before. Street Beat has a menu that includes plant-based tacos, burgers, and Southern classics, plus non-alcoholic drinks and vintage arcade games. There will soon also be a full-service coffee counter. This place sounds amazing. The restaurant opens at 4 p.m. on Thursday, right along Michigan Avenue. And if you've been outside today, you know how cold it is. I mean, it paints a pretty picture when you're looking from the inside out, but once you get outside, you know you have to bundle up. What's it going to be like this week, Ash?
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
Well, we have a little bit of a weather roller coaster in store this week. In fact, starting off today with really cold temperatures. The morning we had a few suburbs dip, below zero for those feels like temperatures. In fact, by the time we get in the later part of the day, those wind chill readings will be in single digits and feeling like we're close to zero again. But we do have a warm up as we go into the next couple of days, getting us close to seasonal territory. But with it comes precipitation chances, and it gets tricky as you rise above the freezing mark. So for tomorrow, right in time for that morning rush hour drive, we anticipate some very light accumulation, but that's all it takes to create a few slick spots, especially on ramps, bridges, overpasses. So just prepare to maybe leave a couple minutes early tomorrow, or don't hit the snooze button tomorrow morning. By Wednesday, and then we're talking about snow transitioning to rain, and this will be a rain event for some, heavy snow event for others before temperatures fall behind Wednesday, and then we deal with a refreeze all across southeastern Michigan. So it's a lot to contend with, and we want to make sure you're prepared for it. Through the afternoon today, we'll only be in the 20s. That puts us more than 10 degrees below average. We will get some sunshine mixing in thanks to high pressure across the region, but that 26 will likely only feel like upper teens. As you take a look at this temperature map, the actual temp versus the feels like temperature in the teens throughout the early part of the afternoon before falling back into those single digits late this evening. So as we zip through the timeline for today, we stay dry, we get a little sunshine, but then our next snowmaker arrives, I would say between about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We have that crossing the area 8, 9 a.m. heart of the morning rush hour drive, and the back edge of it as it clears out by the lunch hour. So late morning, a lot of folks on the west side are done with this. And then there's this lull, and I say lull because we have more precipitation arriving by late evening. Here's a snapshot at 8 p.m. where we have snow along and north of M59, freezing drizzle across the metro area, and rain south of I-94. And you can see how we're contending with that mixture all the way into midnight going into Wednesday morning. This stays mainly a snow event into the thumb, and it'll be more of that wet, heavy snow. So we'll see greater accumulations where you need the shovel well to our north. But for the rest of us, some of that rain will kind of cut down on some of the snow depth that we have. But then cooler air filters in, and by late Wednesday morning, now we're talking about some snow again. So we will definitely be dealing with this mixture. Snowfall forecast. Tomorrow's not impressive. It's a dusting to a half of an inch, but that's enough to create the slick spots. But then when it's all said and done Wednesday, some areas could exceed 3 inches in the thumb. That's why you'll need the shovel, where the rest of us are in that ½ inch to about an 1.5 inch range through Wednesday, as the rain will be cutting down on total. So there's that rain building in, and then it changes back over to snow by late evening on Wednesday. Then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll get some of these lake effect snow bands, which means off and on flurries. Keeping a close eye, though, on this system that's tracking south of here late Friday. But nonetheless, we have some snow chances across the Great Lakes all the way through the weekend. And that's because highs fall well below the freezing mark. We're in the 20s Thursday all the way through the weekend as well. And those overnight lows will be awfully chilly, especially as we get into the teens.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Still ahead, there's a new holiday shopping trend this year, why the gift you open may be secondhand. And let's take you to Tennessee, where we'll show you the unexpected guest that showed up at a Christmas parade. I'm hoping it's not the Grinch. Getting a live look at the Christmas Village in Finland as we talk about a new holiday shopping trend. Black Friday and Cyber Monday have come and gone, but what about Thriftmas? 81% of Americans say they plan to buy at least some secondhand gifts this season, and you could find a gift that's normally $15 or more for just $5 with a little thrifting. According to OfferUp, many Gen Z shoppers are leading the charge, saying they prefer secondhand shopping if they can find the same product for less. U.S. consumers are feeling a little better about the economy, but overall mood is still pretty gloomy. A new University of Michigan survey shows consumer sentiment ticked up this month from 51 to just over 53. People say they're still struggling with high prices, but they're less worried about inflation in the year ahead. And the big driver? Lower expectations for price hikes, even as national tariffs have climbed to levels that we have not seen since the 1930s. Overall, researchers say folks are hopeful, but not celebrating just yet. And you definitely don't see this at Christmas tree lightings in Metro Detroit. Take a look at this unexpected guest that showed up at a Christmas parade in Tennessee. It was a black bear. The curious cub was caught on camera rummaging through a downtown trash can just after the parade wrapped up. It's not the first time a bear has gone viral in Gatlinburg recently. Just last month, firefighters had to rescue another bear that found its way onto the roof of a theater. If you've been to the Great Smoky Mountains, you know black bear sightings are pretty common. Well, by now, I'm sure you've heard of the term 6'7", but you probably still have no idea what it means. Coming up, we're taking a look at meme speak and how you can sound way cooler to the younger generations. I don't know about that. And then a long vacant property in Detroit is about to get a massive makeover. We're hearing from the developers. That's next.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Priya Mann filling in for Nick Monticelli this morning. We start this half hour with a conversation on the future of a prominent site in Detroit. We're talking about the Packard plant. Last week, the city announced plans to redevelop the long vacant automotive plant on Detroit's east side. The development plan would turn the 28 acres of the complex into a park with an indoor skate park, affordable housing, and a museum. On this week's Flashpoint, Jason Colthorpe talked with the people behind the project. Take a look.
There are plans to revitalize the old site of the abandoned Packard plant, and the two developers determined to make sure this time. It happens the way we hope. Are here to chat about it, as well as Brandon Lockhart with the mayor's office in the city of Detroit. Oren Goldenberg and Mark Bennett are with Packard Development. Is that the name of it?
Packard Development Partners, yes.
I mean, that spells it right out. We
Exactly.
know what Mark, tell me about just the idea here and what people can expect. It's exciting when you try and talk about this site. We call it the most historic ruin in Detroit.
Right, and we're beyond the ruin. I think the mayor has counseled us to get beyond that because we now have an opportunity to essentially leverage major new industrial investment and jobs and restore existing buildings. So the key is, instead of knocking down these buildings, the mayor was focused on preservation, and we've come up with a plan to combine those development activities to really move this site forward and create a special destination for the city.
Oren, it's about 60% of the site, correct, that you guys want to develop here? And talk to me about what you want to put into that 60% there.
So the majority of the site is going to be a new Class A industrial building, about 400,000 square feet, looking at 300 plus jobs. And then the existing building of 116,000 square feet, we're looking at putting in an indoor skate park. We're working closely with Community Push, Detroit's skating initiative, Museum of Detroit Electronic Music being led by Adriel Thornton, and Make Live Housing.
That's exciting, and I'm sure. Have you gotten any? What's the feedback from the neighborhood been so far?
Very positive. I mean, they've been through a lot. I mean, this place has been vacant for 70 years. There's been several false starts, as you know.
Yeah.
I think people think that the feedback that we're getting, this is a practical approach, that it seems doable, and this is very much a team activity in terms of, we call it a public-private philanthropic partnership. So everybody is sort of moving in the same direction, and I think they're cautiously optimistic would be the best way. But they're a critical part of this process.
Yeah.
We're just now starting to engage with the neighborhood.
False starts is an interesting way to put it. Brandon, let me bring you in here. What did the mayor's office kind of do here to kind of make sure that this succeeds where we've seen some other efforts fail?
Yeah, I think from the mayor's office perspective, we've looked at this project as an opportunity to continue to grow our interest in the neighborhood and focusing on those developments that also consider the areas that they're going to. When you consider places like Michigan Central and Fisher Body, they're not just job creators, but they're also hubs for the community and the neighborhoods in which they exist.
The hurdles have to be huge when you're talking about a site as big as what the Packard plant was.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Like you guys have seen, right, a lot of false starts, as mentioned before. We've done RFPs, we've gotten proposals for projects that we didn't really think fit for what we were looking for the site. This opportunity does that, right? Like we've been working together for quite some time to figure out how to get this done. You know, I think a lot of times you see the projects are announced, but you don't see all the work that went in the background, the years of development and figuring out, you know, who's the right person to make those things happen.
And I'm sure you got a lot of input from lots of different areas here. Take me inside the brainstorming sessions and like the inspiration, Oren, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, this started with Mayor Duggan at the grand opening of Dream Detroit. He sort of invited us to take a look at this. So really it started with his vision. Me and Mark started working on it. Then we started working closely with the DGC and the mayor's office, Brandon and Brittany. And we brought in Albert Kahn and Associates, the original architects of the building. Brought in this amazing architect, a friend of mine, Craig Maldonado from New York, who does adaptive reuse. We've been working with the skate community, and you know, it's an ever-growing team.
Yeah, and if I could, a very important partner has been the Detroit Regional Partnership, DRP, and their focus is on getting industrial sites ready for development. So they gave us a significant grant that has really pulled our due diligence work ahead about a year. And they're continuing to support us. So this is a very broad support. And as I mentioned a bit before, we're getting contacts from people whose grandparents worked at the Packard plant 100 years ago. This is a very meaningful site to people that have
very much so,
nostalgic feelings, like driving by the plant, going to work with their parents. So it's much more than just another real estate deal.
Do you take that, it's almost like a responsibility?
Question, yeah. We talk about ourselves as being stewards of this.
Yeah.
You know, so with the city in partnership to make sure this is done right and it has long-term commitment to the city.
You mentioned a moment ago, it's so close to the bridge too. It was kind of, it seems strange to hear that.
Right, so when we first started looking at, so we're working with a group called Signature Associates, which is one of the leading industrial brokerage firms. And when they did their analysis a couple things came up. It's one of the few sites that has an active rail spur at the site, and it's about 11 minutes from the new bridge, the Gordie Howe Bridge, which provides logistical access for commerce.
Intriguing for some potential businesses.
Absolutely, no question. I mean, that's just, and when you talk about time to move goods in and out, and you have that kind of access to internationally, it's a big pro for the site.
Yeah, Brandon, this is 60%. Has the city already worked on what might happen for the other 40% down the road?
We have not, right? We understand that the development team has interest in expanding and continuing the vision across the entire
Let's
site.
crawl before we can walk.
Exactly. Right. So we're still looking forward to working with this team on the south side of the facility. And if things, go well, there's an opportunity for them to expand to the north, or also other opportunities for us to get diversification on the site.
From the city side, is that, do you kind of just dream about, I think businesses might find it very beneficial to jump in this? We've seen, like we mentioned, the old train station and what's happened there around that, all kinds of the incubus of a lot of different businesses. Do you see that sort of thing happening here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can point to various projects, even most recently Future of Health, right? Like the co-location of Michigan State, the Pistons, and Henry Ford Hospital. So yes, we are looking for that level of synergy to take place in this neighborhood also.
Yeah, I was going to say,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say we see this as a very significant placemaking impact that'll have catalytic broad impact. We had property owners come up to us at the press conference who have properties like 2 miles away on Bellevue who are all excited. Because all of a sudden, boom, you've got this huge investment, and it sort of lifts the boats.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
There's a cliche in there somewhere. Before I let you go, Oren and Mark, tell me about how people can still, at this point in the process, do you have a website where maybe they can go drop a note? Here's what I'm thinking, my thoughts, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a website. It's packardpark.com, as it sounds, and there's a note field there. Just put your name and email, and if you want to stay in touch or have a specific interest, please don't hesitate, and we'll stay in touch with you.
Awesome. And we're just starting to have community meetings and events, and people will be hearing a lot about it over the next year. So we really encourage folks to come out. And
well, one thing I can tell you is everybody's rooting for you. That's for
Appreciate
sure.
it.
And Jason also did a deep dive into the controversy over data centers in Metro Detroit. You can watch all of Flashpoint right now on clickondetroit.com. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan has just 3 weeks left in office, and he's reflecting on his nearly 12 years at the helm of one of the biggest cities in the Midwest. This afternoon at 12:30, Mayor Duggan is giving an exit interview at the Detroit Economic Club. You can watch it streaming on Local 4 Plus and the homepage of clickondetroit.com. Amazon is using drones to deliver packages in Metro Detroit, and you're about to see a lot more of them in the sky. Still ahead, a behind-the-scenes look at a drone company setting up shop here in Detroit and their plans to expand their use in the area. Have you seen all the drones buzzing around Southeast Michigan? Amazon is delivering packages by drone, and first responders are using them for fires and police calls. Now, a drone company just moved their headquarters from San Francisco to Detroit. So is the Motor City becoming Drone City? Shantae Passmore tells us what to expect in the skies very soon.
Hey, good morning. Michigan Central is, of course, known for many things. I mean, the architecture alone, just stunning. And the lights really bring you into the holiday spirit. But this is also a hub for drone startups. And it's not just about having the ability to fly these aircrafts. It's about how businesses and cities can tap into their use, elevating their footprint. Michigan Central is propelling into new territory. The historical landmark, along with multiple partners, launched the Advanced Aerial Innovation Region, also known as AIR.
In order to bring drone companies here to fly beyond visual line of sight and to build real scalable businesses in a real world urban environment.
Drone pilots must be able to physically see their drones at all times. These operators fly by watching through desktops.
It's waiting for the aircraft to boot up.
Using a mouse or controller, AIR helped several drone companies obtain a special FAA waiver. Lamar.ai shows Local 4 how its software conducts building inspections for the city of Detroit. It's tasked with detecting energy inefficiencies at 3 sites.
The AI sifts through it and gives you the outcome so that you're focused on the better task, which is how do we solve that problem rather than how do we identify that problem.
It can't do this work alone. Fly Guys provides the pilots. The Beyond Visual Line of Sight fee waiver requires strict guidelines, including parachutes on the aircraft.
I can fly up there, take some pictures, and go home at night. That's the whole point.
And it's not just building inspections. There are talks of moving goods, even medical deliveries, like medication and possibly organ transport. To streamline this ecosystem, the city adopted a special ordinance to help innovators get their ideas off the ground.
Motor City might be flying. Motor City is definitely flying, and the Motor City is going to be moving in many different ways in the future.
And this is just so major. You know, normally drone pilots, they're not allowed to fly over people out of safety concerns, but with these special waivers, they're able to do so. And if you were wondering just how far these pilots can go remotely in this area, we're talking about 2 miles or so. And the city says any projects that go through the Transportation and Innovation Zone, which is where we're standing right now, it doesn't cost taxpayers anything, going back to that building inspection. And part of the reason is because it's either privately funded or it receives grant funding. We're in front of Michigan Central. Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Shantae. Another lawsuit has been added to the ongoing political drama in Hamtramck. City Clerk Rana Faraj has filed a whistleblower lawsuit in Wayne County Circuit Court against the city. She says she was pushed out after speaking up about ballot harvesting, voter intimidation, and residency fraud during the 2025 election. The suit is asking for her job back and damages. We've reached out to the city of Hamtramck for comment. The Leland apartment building has to pay a deposit of the thousands of dollars it owes to DTE Energy by today or face a power shutoff. The 22-story former hotel, now in bankruptcy, houses 40 people and the iconic City Club. The owner has said he's secured financing to pay DTE and prevent that shutoff. We have been following this story all week after residents were told they had to move out by Wednesday because the building owner owed more than $40,000 to the energy provider. Let's get a live look at Campus Martius, where in a few hours, crews will start setting up Michigan's largest menorah. The 26-foot steel and glass structure is arriving at noon. The official lighting ceremony, Menorah in the D, will be Sunday evening at 5:30 with lots of live entertainment and fun for the family lined up. And snow will start falling just in time for tomorrow morning's commute, so Ashley's back to track the impact it could have on your drive and when even more snow arrives this week. The Powerball jackpot just keeps growing, and it's nearing $900 million for tonight's drawing. The jackpot now sits at $875 million. No ticket matched all 6 numbers on Saturday night, and no one has won the big prize since September, when 2 tickets in Missouri and Texas split $1.8 billion. We'll have the winning numbers for you tonight on Local 4 News at 11. And it is a very chilly start to your Monday, and we could see some snow for your morning commute tomorrow. Ashley's got all the details. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
Well, we have a little bit of a weather roller coaster in store this week. In fact, starting off today with really cold temperatures. The morning we had a few suburbs dip, below 0 for those feels like temperatures. In fact, by the time we get in the later part of the day, those wind chill readings will be in single digits and feeling like we're close to 0 again. But we do have a warm up as we go into the next couple of days, getting us close to seasonal territory. But with it comes precipitation chances, and it gets tricky as you rise above the freezing mark. So for tomorrow, right in time for that morning rush hour drive, we anticipate some very light accumulation, but that's all it takes to create a few slick spots, especially on ramps, bridges, overpasses. So just prepare to maybe leave a couple minutes early tomorrow, or don't hit the snooze button tomorrow morning. By Wednesday, and then we're talking about snow transitioning to rain, and this will be a rain event for some, heavy snow event for others before temperatures fall behind Wednesday, and then we deal with a refreeze all across southeastern Michigan. So it's a lot to contend with, and we want to make sure you're prepared for it. Through the afternoon today, we'll only be in the 20s. That puts us more than 10 degrees below average. We will get some sunshine mixing in thanks to high pressure across the region, but that 26 will likely only feel like upper teens as you take a look at this temperature map. The actual temp versus the feels like temperature in the teens throughout the early part of the afternoon before falling back into those single digits late this evening. So as we zip through the timeline for today, we stay dry, we get a little sunshine, but then our next snowmaker arrives, I would say between about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We have that crossing the area 8, 9 a.m. heart of the morning rush hour drive, and the back edge of it as it clears out by the lunch hour. So late morning, a lot of folks on the west side are done with this. And then there's this lull, and I say lull because we have more precipitation arriving by late evening. Here's a snapshot at 8 p.m. where we have snow along and north of M59, freezing drizzle across the metro area, and rain south of I-94. And you can see how we're contending with that mixture all the way into midnight going into Wednesday morning. This stays mainly a snow event into the thumb, and it'll be more of that wet, heavy snow. So we'll see greater accumulations where you need the shovel well to our north. But for the rest of us, some of that rain will kind of cut down on some of the snow depth that we have. But then cooler air filters in, and by late Wednesday morning, now we're talking about some snow again. So we will definitely be dealing with this mixture. Snowfall forecast. Tomorrow's not impressive. It's a dusting to a 1/2 inch, but that's enough to create the slick spots. But then when it's all said and done Wednesday, some areas could exceed 3 inches in the thumb. That's why you'll need the shovel, where the rest of us are in that 1/2 inch to about an 1.5 inch range through Wednesday, as the rain will be cutting down on total. So there's that rain building in, and then it changes back over to snow by late evening on Wednesday. Then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll get some of these lake effect snow bands, which means off and on flurries. Keeping a close eye, though, on this system that's tracking south of here late Friday. But nonetheless, we have some snow chances across the Great Lakes all the way through the weekend. And that's because highs fall well below the freezing mark. We're in the 20s Thursday all the way through the weekend as well. And those overnight lows will be awfully chilly, especially as we get into the teens.
Well, is my use of the word Riz cringe? I feel cringe saying it. If you have no idea what that last sentence means, stick around. We are decoding meme speak so that we can communicate better with those younger people out there. We'll have all the details coming up. I'm going to be taking notes. All right, 6-7, Riz, crash out. Are you confused yet? Well, good. So are the rest of us adults. The youth, those young people, seem to be speaking a foreign language sometimes. Young Zoomers and Gen Alpha are mining much of their vocabulary from social media, viral videos, and streaming platforms. Leigh Waldman is helping us decode what the kids are saying in the chat.
Meme speak is taking over the chat,
Bro, I'm gonna crash out.
dominating the lexicon
6-7.
and confusing grown-ups everywhere,
Chat, is this Riz?
with one clear exception.
Mr. Lindsay back to define another word that your kids are using.
Middle school teacher Philip Lindsay's TikTok translations have gone viral, much like the word trends he helps to explain.
If something goes viral and it's a meme, you can expect to be hearing the kids saying it at some point, and then sometimes they even add meaning to it.
The trends can come from anything. 6-7, for example, is a lyric from a Skrilla song that morphed online after someone made an edit, then another person added a hand motion. Others are renewals of past fads like the word tough, spelled T-U-F-F, to mean cool.
If a kid walks in and says that my outfit is low-key tough, boom, I've nailed it, right?
It may sound like nonsense, but for kids, linguist Teresa Pratt says it's about finding their voice.
Young people innovate a lot with language, in part because that's a kind of socialized chapter of life where you're supposed to do creative things with your style.
Mr. Lindsay says try to speak the language, even if it's cringe.
Parents and teachers need some kind of bridge of conversation with their kids to joke about some of the words or some of the memes that then opens up to more meaningful conversation.
In New York, I'm Leigh Waldman.
Well, I hope you know how to communicate with the young people now. We have so much more coming up throughout the day here on Local 4. Tati and Kim, speaking of young people from Live in the D, are here to show us what's ahead. All right, so we learned a few things.
Yeah, I mean, today's show is going to be anything but 6-7. It's got a lot of Riz.
That was good.
That was good. That was good.
Excellent.
She is a young person, though.
Yes. No, I think those terms are like young. You know,
Yes.
like we're talking
Right.
high school, which I mean,
We're
I guess-
middle-aged young.
I guess I'm fresh out of high school still, but no.
I love that. You
Middle-aged
need to put that on a T-shirt.
Exactly. No, to the young people, we were born in the 1900s.
Last century.
Yes.
I like to say that to young people. I like to
Yes.
say, listen, honey, I was born in the 1900s.
You use it to
I
your
know.
advantage.
But we own it.
know. Yes. But speaking of young people, for today on the show, we have a young couple.
That's right.
On. They're like a newlywed couple, and they are our Music Monday. Priya, they're the cutest duo band you've ever met in your entire life.
I love when couples can be artistic together.
Yes, and they are super artistic on so many different levels. They call themselves Sias, that's their group name. And one thing you're going to really love is how the wife literally created an instrument for herself.
Oh.
Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but I guess
I wanna know what this-
necessity is the mother of invention.
I want to know what it looks like.
Think of like a keytar, but like reimagined for exactly what she needed it to be, right?
Exactly. And the funny part was, is we were watching them like perform, and we were like, dang, they have chemistry. But we didn't know they were married at the time.
We had no
and
idea.
We were like scooting around. We're like, so you guys, how do you know each other?
That was her.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. She knew how to handle it perfectly.
They're like, we're
actually
touchy
married 'cause their
feely.
best
names were different, but you know, that's
that's normal.
Yeah. But it
Oh
was
my
hilarious.
goodness.
You're gonna love them. Their sound is so unique, so different.
I like the name too.
Sias.
Yeah.
You're gonna love them.
Oh, also, Mitch Albom is on the show today.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, big star right
Exactly.
there. And we were talking about, you know, the gift of giving coming up. He's got his big radiothon, so we want to highlight that. And special guests every year. I can't wait to know who's going to be there this year.
Right.
Absolutely. It's incredible. Every year that Say Detroit comes up, and he's able to benefit so many different Detroit organizations. So
And this has
happy
been
to
a
have him
tough
on.
year
It has
for a
been.
lot of folks. A lot of
Exactly.
folks really need that help, and we know Metro Detroiters show up.
Yeah, you were out there at Thaw. Look how
I
much money
was.
was raised there.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
do
that
come
was
through, so it's
incredible.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
ladies, it's going to be a great show. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see this couple, this
You're
duo.
gonna, yes,
I
you're
love it.
going to love them.
Exactly. Be like, what's going on with these two?
You're gonna love them.
Thanks so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us for Local 4 Live. More news and weather ahead here on Local 4 Plus, and always on clickondetroit.com. Have a great day.
Today on Live in the D, get in the holiday spirit when we check out the fun happening in Royal Oak. From ice skating to zip lining and shopping, get a look at what your family can enjoy.
Plus, we'll be joined in studio by best-selling author Mitch Albom. Hear about his special mission to help support Detroiters who need it most.
And don't miss a special Music Monday performance from a duo that's blending lush vocals, rich storytelling, and a sound that's all their own.
It's all coming up today on Live in the D at 11 a.m.
Today on Live in the D, get in the holiday spirit when we check out the fun happening in Royal Oak. From ice skating to zip lining and shopping, get a look at what your family can enjoy.
Plus, we'll be joined in studio by best-selling author Mitch Albom. Hear about his special mission to help support Detroiters who need it most.
And don't miss a special Music Monday performance from a duo that's blending lush vocals, rich storytelling, and a sound that's all their own.
It's all coming up today on Live in the D at 11 a.m. Well, the 3 headlines over the next 3 days: cold, snow, and then a wintry mix. So we're dealing with the cold on this Monday. 26 degrees under partly sunny skies. Will feel more like teens at times, and we felt like we were below zero in the early morning hours. However, we'll be warming things up, and as we rise into the 30s, we're looking at light accumulation for the Tuesday morning drive. And then as temperatures get into the mid to upper 30s, we could have some rain mixing in on Wednesday. Bigger cool down by the end of the week.
Today on Live in the D, our Days of Giving contest continues.
We'll announce the name of our newest winner, plus share with you details on how you can score a $500 gift card.